under the description of this video, you'll find the contents for this YAML file. And this pretty much defines how we're going to get a Postgres database up and running within a Docker container. So here we have services, DB, container name. This is the official image for Postgres. We define some environment variables with username and password, some volumes, how to store data, the ports in here, and some network configuration. And also here you can see the volume and the network itself. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the contents of this YAML, close it, and then within the root folder for your project, create a new file and type it as I'm going to. So say docker compose dot and then YAML, and then paste it. Cool. So now within IntelliJ, you should see these play buttons. And if you are using the community edition, you have to install a plugin and you should see this as well. But don't you worry, because we're not going to use Docker this way. We're going to use the terminal. So now that you have this file right here named exactly as docker-compose.yaml, let's go ahead and open up the terminal, and within terminal type ls or dir if you are on Windows. So type ls and you should see that we have docker-compose.yaml. Now what we're going to do is type docker compose and then up dash and then d for detached. I'm going to press enter and you can see that we have few things. So we have running 2 out of 2. So we have the network which was created, as well as the Postgres container. Now let's together type docker compose. So docker compose and then ps. And you can see that we have one container called Postgres and it's running on port 5432. And you can see the status, which is here. It's running. Cool. Also, what I want to make sure that if you have Postgres, so installed locally, have a look. I've got Postgres installed locally, right? So what I want you to do is to stop it, literally stop it, because this Postgres, which I have installed locally, and again, this is only if you have Postgres also installed locally on your machine. So if it's installed on your machine, stop it, because this instance right here is using the exact same port. So it's using 5432. Now, what you could do is you could stop and then just use this port, or so here you can change this port to something else. So you could say 5433, for example. So if I open up the terminal and then say docker compose -up, and let me just clear the screen and then say docker compose ps. And you can see that now it's running on a different port, which means that I can go back to my Postgres, which I have installed locally, and I can start. So now I do have 2 Postgres instances running on separate ports, and there is no conflict. Again, I've only done this in case you have 2 Postgres instances running, one on your local machine and the other one running on Docker. So I want to leave this port as it is, 5332, mapping to 5432. So this has to be 5432 because this is the actual Docker instance running on Docker, and requests coming from localhost 54332 will be redirected to 5432 on the container. Cool. If you have any questions on this, please let me know. Otherwise, next, let's connect to our database.